45 minutes to go left in the trading session. Let's get back into the close and see how things are shaping up as we head towards the close. As I mentioned, 0.6 still for the S&P. We got pretty negative here as far as tech stocks are concerned. 2.25% now to the downside for the NASDAQ. You can see the Dow hanging on to positive showing so far. That's still, it will be another record close if we do close at this point for the Dow. But let's talk about tech stocks, guys. Pretty negative here heading into the last hour.
If by negative you mean they're going down, that certainly would be the case. Look, there's a lot moving today. I'm going to start off with a familiar face. We're going to be live trading throughout the close. Oxygen making some moves. It's not the only thing that's looking rather strong going into going into the last hour here, or I guess the last 45 minutes. Top break 10:30. You know I was shorting it before because obviously that's how we roll. I was short at like 10:10. It broke this like 10:20 level. I reversed into the long only after it dipped down to 10:40. Now just sort of riding the train to see if we can get to $11 on Oxygen. If you can't beat them, join them. And when it comes to the short, this morning I was sort of sitting there looking at the square short. And that was one of the first trades on the board, and it just did not age very well, getting out at 226. I tried 3 separate times, long off the bottom and square. We left the show with that long position on. I scalped it a couple times for a few bucks. Still my top stock in the day, but got stopped out when it hit the low of the day. It still cannot bounce. Like much of the tech space here, Sean, under a ton of pressure.
Yep, good call there on the pressure. I mean, we talked about it. If you guys just hit the rewind button and whatever, we'll just do Superman because it's my favorite one. We were talking earlier on in the morning about the NASDAQ just not being able to get going, and we were only down that 0.1% or some 0.03%, something like that. And we were like, I thought the negative was going to come into play. We didn't hold that 13.5 here on NASDAQ, so over to some more value type stocks for me. We just went long. Ford is right back to where we like it, man. This is a good spot for us. I wish, we do have some lower bids. If we can get filled down there, 1172, 73, 74, something like that. But we just took some 75s and some 76s. So average price now 76 and change. Gonna get it out. Hopefully, we'll take some 80s for sure. And then hopefully we can get back to 83. But I still have Mr. Softy on watch as well, as we've just good outs, like unbelievable. It goes up to 251 and then it's like bang, bang. So these levels right here, 247.50 on Softy, I think hold. So we get a little bit into there. We're gonna look for a 247.50 break on Softy, but other than that, let's see if the NASDAQ wants to make its way back upside. I did tweet out, guys, and again, you asked me to do this. I'm just trying to pick up some love out here, and just to let you guys know. Oh, good. Sonia, what's up, Sonia? Thank you for sharing. You're the best. No, you are the best. I'm gonna like that comment there. Just picked up some more Apple and BABA. We always talk about, hold, don't trade Apple. I think on these levels, I think it's worth it. The only risk there with Alibaba, again, they report this week. So no, I mean, we literally just picked it up, so I don't even remember my price. 220, it's in the 220s anyways, 220, 10 cents, 15 cents. They report, right? So you got to watch out for Alibaba. I don't like going long in front of reports, but I do think it'll be better. So we picked up, added to our position, added like another 10% into this float. So trying to get a better average price here on BABA for the long-term portfolio.
Yeah, and one of the other things that is moving that just popped in. Now, I don't see any news on this. If you guys see anything, let us know. It halted, IHT halted once at 420, has since made a move into, I want to call like this lower high 520 area. We got no locates. Otherwise, I'd probably already be short off of this lower high 520 that you saw put in on the 7th. It is a big time runner. And speaking of, I guess, squeeze trades, if you want to call it that, Big Five. Big Five, just another big session, but it reversed hard off 35. It broke down at 33. It's been sort of selling off all afternoon, well, at least since lunchtime. Just popped off 31.50. I'm short in front of 32 even. I'm going to go tight stop here. If it breaks like 32.10 or so, I'll rehunt that one back at VWAP, but short Big Five just now, 31.94. Brendo?
Pretty hard to not watch some of these tech stocks as they slide to the downside. Here's another one. Yeah, Tesla down 5.7% today. There was a headline that came out just before we came on there around 3 o'clock. The National Transportation, I should say, and Safety Board saying the crash in Texas that we mentioned back a month or so ago in April, the autopilot could not have been deployed, according to the NTSB guys.
All right, so they can't hang their hat on that, I guess. So we'll wait to see more news coming out of that. Should be pretty spicy there with Tesla. I see someone in the chat up 30 grand off of Coinbase today. Good job. We did have that level there on Coinbase, which was 250. It doesn't get any clearer than that. I wish we were still trading to be able to take that trade with you. You know, it's just when we're on board here, I can't put that into my account, but I should have put it on board right here. There's Coinbase right there. This bottom 250. I mean, the thing is, the 250 is the bottom. So, like I said, if you put anything on, and I know Neil had it, but you know, you put anything on down there, I really think you got to give it a little bit of room. But you can't predict this. The thing about it is, Coinbase up 10% today into NASDAQ weakness. You probably just got your all clear on Coinbase, guys. So I would be holding on to this one for a very, very long time. I am a buyer on weakness. Hopefully tomorrow morning I can get some pre-show, guys.
You'd like to think that there'd be some kind of a pullback. I'm only chuckling because of how bad. Like I thought this exit in Coinbase looked bad when we finished the show. I mean, obviously now that you've gone to like 296, it looks even worse now. Like Sean said, you got to give some of these a little bit more room. The levels were all good. I think we're using that 260, but you got to be able to let it break a little bit. Big five starting to work in the money, about 20 cents or so. But I can tell you, Ocugen may be running at least a little bit out of steam. Like so far, it did get me that 1055. And if you want to see why I'm taking a few shares out there at 1055, I just look into last week. The gap down came off of like a 1065 post-market low. And then this little top is literally 1055. So I get take 2/3 of it out on the break at that particular price just to make sure that we can lock in some profits. Now, if it wants to pull back any further than this, I'll probably dip out at 10.25. Then let's see if I can't hunt off like 10 even or 980 down at VWAP to try the long trade. I'm biased to the long side for OCGN, just given the way that it's run. I don't know that I'll short. Maybe if like it hits 11 or something, I might actually short that one for sure. Emiliano, maybe we should do an NFT. If you get the most epic bottom wick or like the dumbest out of all time, like it's kind of one of those things. Like you just sort of frame it, you're happy about it. We're all in jokes, right? Like obviously I've learned my lesson with that trade, and that's the key. I know I have to give it more than $1. I probably got in 50 to 60 pennies too early, so suddenly didn't want to lose like $2 on the trade. But if I just get it at a better price, that's another way to handle it. Ocugen, got to get my stop in because I don't want it to break 1020 at 10.25 and I don't get out of it and then rehunt for a better price here. We got to be flat at the end of the day, so it's like scalp what you can. You can hold for that home run, but I don't want to turn a winning trade into a loser. Not in the last 30 minutes.
No, I'm going to give this one a little bit of room as well. Snapchat right here. We'll see. So we just went long. Oh, no, we didn't get filled. I thought we went long at 16. I like Snapchat here. So we wouldn't be thinking about going long if we didn't like it. It's bouncing. There's VWAP here, 51.80. This is a 1 minute trade. Oh, F you. I thought we just had that there at 16. We didn't. We missed it. Just must have put the order in and didn't get filled there, but that's okay. Maybe we come back downside now. Snapchat was down like almost 10% or so when we first talked about it. Well, not first, but when we looked at it on the show there. And what an epic move to the back end here on Snapchat. Like not almost all the way back, but it got to 53 there. That would have been, you know, close to being out. Okay, there's Ford again making some moves to the upside now as well. So we got that fill down there, 73. That was obviously a good fill. It does go a little bit against us. I think it goes to 71 or so. But these were the bottoms, right? And so there's Ford in, and you could see people always ask me the question like, Sean, you know, how much do you average in? What is that? Blah blah blah. There it is right there. So you can see my average price, 74 now. So even though this fill was 73, we really loaded up that compared to these fills. So we're looking for that best price. And again, Neil and I have to be flat at the end of the day. So I'm just going to try to get this out. Like if I can get a 79 now, that'd be great. We'll hold out for the home run. I say home run because like 5 cents on Ford, it doesn't seem to be that much. But today's whole range, if you take the bottom of 73 before and go up to, 90 basically, that's 17 cents if you get top to bottom. So if we can get 5 or 6 here, we'll try to take that long 73, try to get some out here on the way back up. But that is Ford. Other than that, man, the baby's going to get rocked tonight when we see what happens with Palantir. So we're waiting on Palantir earnings. But look at this, guys. 1840 has been pretty cash money right here on the low side. So may pick some up. Let's see what happens in the next 10 minutes. But I think a Palantir long into this 1820, probably okay, especially if someone gets wind that maybe they're better than expected. Maybe this thing flies upside. So I'm going to take that long now and give it back to 1820. I'd just rather get this at 1845.
Speaking of Kathy Wood, I'm going to check in on Virgin Galactic in a quick little bit here. We'll fist bump that one and go to the big five. Look, if we're going to have a tight stop, having missed on that big move at 33 even, it kind of sucks you missed that even break. We'll catch the consolidation off 32. If I'm not going to give it too much room past that 32, like 32.10s, that's risking 20, 25 pennies. I'm certainly going to take the bottom end of this range for a third, see if I can't quickly get the 30 cents out. So we do that once. Now I want it to break down, get some out in front of 31. It is worth noting that top on Friday, 30.66, this was the breakout in the morning. When something is squeezing like this, I should have been looking at Big 5 probably for that little breakout, and you could have caught that at 9.45. But on the way back in, I have to anticipate that there could be a bit of a buy in front of that 30.66. That's the ultimate target. If I get $1 on the trade, I want the last out in front of it to be sure. I can tell you that Ocugen, last time we traded this on the show at the close, I think, well, it was on Friday. The long didn't work when I dug into this one, but it was more on a dip in a consolidation trying to catch in front of VWAP instead of the breakout. Now I came back in, tried to retouch what was the previous high, like that 25 area, and bounced right back to the upside. So now it needs to get through, make a fresh high, break that 1060. Let's get some out, hopefully, from 75 to 11 even. But this is the time for it to run. I don't want to linger too long in this one. And I said I would talk about Virgin Galactic because they're going to report their lack of earnings because they don't make any money, quite frankly. But still getting woodshedded down below that 18. Now it's battling at 18 here. And the only reason I bring it up is it's come down like a couple of pennies below that 18 mark without actually flushing to the death here. So if it does hold this 18, it's kind of a bit of a failed break to the downside. And I might look at like an 11.10, 11.15 long just to see if there's any bounce over here in Virgin Galactic. Clearly, even just looking at the 15-minute chart for 3 or 4 sessions tells you a big story. Brendan?
So if you joined us in the morning, you might have heard us talking about the 4,200 level on the S&P with the rune very, very early on this morning. We're still kind of bouncing around that level, trying to hold below it right now, in fact. I was just trying to find, guys, something that resembles strength in this overall market, and there's really not much. These are the sectors of the S&P 500. You may recognize this if you join us for the morning show every day, but you can see this group over here, this is the tech sector, so the entire thing very red. Consumer discretionary is very red. Banks are kind of standing out over here as showing a little bit of strength. The utility group as well, consumer staples, and specifically the household, Procter & Gamble's of the world showing a little bit of strength, but overall pretty weak. Overall, the market, the S&P now pushing towards lows as well, guys.
So, I mean, thank you, Brendan. I have a name for you, and maybe it was upgraded or not, but Peloton today, the beatdown name, that is Peloton. You're going to see it is up today. So Peloton today, there's the move, up 5% and still ripping. So Peloton does have, obviously we've talked about them over and over again. Last week they had the report on obviously having to take back some of those treadmills, recalling them in fact, and it's just been a horrible little run for Peloton. But unlike DraftKings, unlike Palantir, unlike some of these other high-flying names, Peloton continues, guys, to go to the upside into this negative tape. So very, very impressive here with Peloton. You're seeing today, it's just been climb. Just wondering, Brendan, maybe they got upgraded today, but they did give a pretty decent outlook. I mean, we talked about their subscribers was absolutely monstrous in the millions. So the story of Peloton is definitely not over here, guys. Nice little bottom there at 80. Someone mentioned last week loading up around 83. And yeah, I think you're going to get rewarded. I did talk about that. I'd like to see it above 100, obviously. But for right now, Peloton, probably the only high flyer showing any kind of strength here today, Brendo.
Yeah, I was just actually checking. Yeah, this is actually from the weekend, but this is talking about Friday. I saw this headline and thought they might have come out with something this morning talking about their full year guidance. But this is talking about what happened back on Friday when we got their latest financials. So yeah, there's not a heck of a lot as far as anything updating Peloton or upgrading, I should say, Peloton today that I can see, guys.
Absolutely. And one of the things that you'll probably remember if you follow the show, you know that we like to talk through the ideas. And one of them, if you're going counter trend, I'm going to show you a counter trend here in U.S. steel. always look for sometimes support turning in resistance or resistance. Friday's high, 28 bucks. Turning into some kind of support. Pre-market, it held that price. I shorted the top at 30 even, and then reversed into a kind of a scalp long. You know what? My heart wasn't in the long. I should have reversed back into that one short, and then had a nicer winner. We've now broken through the pre-market low, but then fail break through 28. We're back in the north side of it. I can kind of give this all the way back to this fresh low at 27. That was 27.85. We'll give it to that. If we can break out. I like a chance to get to 28.50. Of course, I got to be flat. Well, we both have to be flat by the end of the day. So I'm going to have to scalp some out in that 30 to 35 range, likely, and then see if we can't get some more up to 28.50. US Steel, I'll probably be at least a little bit concerned with the imbalances when they do come out. A big sell imbalance, and I'll be taking this out pretty much wherever it is at 350, even if it hasn't broken the low of the day. Not the kind of stock on the New York that I would go against the grain with if it has like over 1 million shares on that imbalance, I would say.
Okay, yeah, no, we'll definitely, guys, stay with us. And as we are now live with the fastest 45 minutes on YouTube, welcome back to the party. This is it, man. That's why we go belly dancing right now, because, hey, we take the shot with Palantir and it goes right to the upside. So we're 8 cents in the money now. You know, I normally just scalp this out. One trade on Palantir was basically the exact same trade that we have on right now. This one managed to get up to view up our best out 69. So we'll wait for something similar to that, 64, 65 right here. And if I'll zoom in a little bit for you, right there, this kind of a level. This is scalping 101 here. So I think we'll get out like 63, 64, see if it does retrace back down. NASDAQ on a nice little run up. This may turn out to be a loser after all, guys. With the NASDAQ here coming back in, you can see, sorry, I've zoomed out a little bit too much here. The NASDAQ trying to pull in, it may not, so it'd be okay for that. But I am gonna put an order right now, 63-ish. Let's call it 62. See if we just take a dime, and then we'll see what happens at Palantir into the close. Breaking higher and higher might be. Now, you know what? Maybe we can just hold this. Whatever you want to do. You want to scalp it out right here. I think this is a good spot, 61, 62. And if anything, thank you for joining us. But that's what Neil and I do here, right? Trying to give you guys levels and opportunities that we see. Whether or not you take them or not is up to you. But for Palantir here into earnings, let's see if the NASDAQ can go. And I think we'll just hold on to this. But I think this is a very reasonable level to get out here if you could take this dime. But I'm going to wait to gather more and more and more on the downside. And if we have a nice winner here, then we'll celebrate it upside. But for right now, that's my thoughts on Palantir. And then Ford, we've just been, I mean, again, there's the long. We're long at 73. You can see that. And then now just getting them out 77, 78. So a nice win here for Ford.
Yeah, and I don't want to get too greedy looking to gift horse in the mouth with this big 5, but it just made a little bit of a test down here to this 31.40. And, you know, I should be taking this 40 or 50 cents if I can get it the next time it comes down, and then hold the last little bit. And usually it's like, you know, less than a third, maybe a quarter, 10%, something in that range to try to hit the home run at this time of day, especially when I have if it gets a tight stop, I'm only risking like 20 pennies or so. So when it gets to 2x, I definitely should be taking some more shares off. It's been such a ridiculous, well, not ridiculous, impressive squeeze that Big 5 has been on. You don't want to get caught too much with a counter trend, and I am shorting near the bottom here, so I'm going to go ahead and pop that bid up. OCGN, I mean, I don't know why I didn't reload. You know what? I can't come up with a really good reason when it bounced off of 1025 there where my stop was not to reload it at 1040. But now it's pressing towards those highs. You know, I'll have to. You know, I'm going to throw an offer out here in front of that 1075 and just see if we can't get out. If it pops, makes a move to the 3/4 mark, we'll get out. Now, if it bounces back, I probably don't want it the next time it dips into 1040 because that'll mean things are not working to the long side. So Big 5, that short's good. The long's still okay in OCGN. US Steel. No moss and no movement off the bottom there. Like I said, I probably should have been a little bit more bearish on this name today. It's consolidating off of the low, but time is against me. I got about 15 minutes or so before I have to, you know what, or get off the pot. One other name that I know a lot of people are looking at, of course, we talked about, Brennan mentioned the story with Tesla. I can't find a long today on Tesla. I got to be honest with you. It's still the same thing here. Oops, that's not really good for the split after the split. But I suppose tomorrow morning I'm going to write down the number 600, and that's what I'll be looking for on Tesla. If this does continue the rest of the week, I'll look for that one shot to probably defend that 600 level. Usually pretty good off the even the first time. Look, we're $30 away, and I know that's like 5% or so, but we're down 6% on Tesla. You always have that chance that you get prices you're not expecting, and you can't make any money if you don't have any bids. I've learned that lesson time and time again. So I'm going to be looking at Tesla at that 600 throughout the week. I see no day trades to the long side until, well, I shouldn't say that. right now, I don't see any day trades alongside for Tesla.
We'll talk about Palantir in a minute, but is there anything better than sitting out back and enjoying a campfire? Unfortunately, I took a picture when we were almost done the campfire, and already we just planted some zucchinis. Pretty soon you'll see tomatoes going crazy in there. Thank you for all the love, and again, guys, thank you for all your pictures of what you guys were doing over the weekend as well. So very, very important. Thank you so much for that love there, guys. But here it is. Here it is right now. Follow me on Twitter. Maybe Valeria can put that up there. Follow all of us. There you go. So I don't know. You tell me, guys. I mean, is there anything better? You know, a nice, that was a warm day, so nice cool beverage, sitting by the fire. Hey, it's the afternoon. My kids ran and got hot dogs. So it was, oh, yeah, actually. My kids ran and got hot dogs. So we were firing them off. I can't find the hot dog thing. We'll get that in another spot. But okay, here's Palantir, guys. You want to talk about diamond hands? Here we go. Palantir, whether or not this is diamond hands or not, 20 cents, I don't think so. But this whole move, we have the whole move, guys, all the way to the top side now. So there it is, a 75, 70s. I think we'll just take this out. It's above VWAP. This is what we like to do. So we'll put an offer there, see if we get hit at 67, and then just move on from there. So we'll get this out on Palantir. There it is. You take those dark pool fields, sometimes you get rewarded. Right there, 67 out on Palantir. So nice little trade there. We'll go bulls, hopefully kicking on this name as we go today. No negative stocks, and we're going to just continue to hit this forward. We just took a 78 fill there. I said we'd be lucky to get it back to 79. Hey, you know, long 73, out 78. Those are the only two trades we put on for you guys so far. Long Palantir, and then right as the show opened, we were in Ford here, 76. Comes down to 73. I hope you guys got that with me, and we're getting it out right now, 77. So nice trading here in the afternoon for sure to go along with some of Neil's winners. So good on you guys, and thank you once again for watching us, and hopefully these stocks will continue to moon. And man, that was a bad out on Palantir because now it's at 73.
So, I mean, obviously you were talking Peloton to the upside. There is another big name, we talked about it earlier, that is up, and it's up 12.5%. And that's going to be Coinbase approaching 300 here. Now, look, it just made a fresh high through that 296 area and has only really gone another $1, but it's a slow march, but it is a consistent and steady one up to that 300 mark. I kind of feel like there might be a tiny little fade going into the close off of that one. I just think it's the first time it touches that 300 for like a couple of bucks or something like that. And then watch out for that 300 break going into the last few minutes of trade. US Steel looks like it's going to be my afternoon losing trade, but OCGN and BGF Big Five looking pretty good. Brendo?
This IHT, guys, still just ripping into the close. In Suites Hospitality Trust, little tiny one. We mentioned this, I think it was on Friday, actually. This thing popped up as well, but just out of nowhere, this volume came in, and this thing has just taken off. So we're coming up to $7 for IHT. Big move, guys.
Yeah, this one, I don't know where this one is coming from, but certainly it's squeezing to death. I had no locates. I would have been looking at maybe that 7. If it had even gotten there, like 675. I kind of feel like maybe if it plops down to $5, it could be like one of those rubber band or I don't know. You can't call it a dead cat bounce because it's like getting just absolutely crushing souls to the upside. I once again, and this time by design, decided to forego any chance of grabbing any kind of like a dip in that Occugen. It just tried to press the high again, got like 2 or 3 cents higher, and then started to flush back down. So I'm going to tighten up the stop here, and if it's just going to go to break even. If it can't break from here, make sure I get out flat. If Occugen doesn't want to go, I don't want to fight the trend too long here. The breakout looked like it was okay, but you had to really have it. You know, when I got out of that short, I should have immediately reversed off 25 instead of waiting for the high of the day and that little bit of a pullback. So it's slowing down. I don't love it. We're now pennies away from getting stopped out in US Steel, so we'll be like 2 for 3 on that particular trade. And then I come back to that big 5, but it's essentially in the same range-bound trade, and I want to go back to one from the morning, if only because so this ALF, I'm going to call it ALF, just made a monster. It's on nothing, by the way. So it was a big flush, a nice little short trade all morning long, and it just broke back up like 75 cents. For reasons, of course. Now, we originally shorted it in the pre-market, but this was the breakdown at 470 right at the open, and then it turns right around here at that 470. So I'm going to take a shot. If it can hold this recent high at 475, it's an oldie, but hopefully it's a goodie. One from the morning show that out of nowhere just popped on me. It wasn't even on my radar going into the afternoon show. I kind of thought this was dead down here at $4. Next thing I know, I'm like, wait a minute, what is this thing doing? Up like 20% in no time at all.
Alf, yeah, grab that show. Great show there if you haven't watched it. If you like aliens running around your house, Alf is for you. Palantir goes up to 75. We'll wait to see there what it's going to do. I still have bids down here. So if we do get a flush coming into the close, then you'll see it here. So we're going to watch that name, and that is Palantir. Just want to see what it does. Like I said, guys, we would eventually show you the imbalances that come out at 350. So with earnings, what else reports? You talked about Virgin. We had Roblox, maybe, I think, reporting this week anyways, if not tomorrow. We are going to go over some of these names. Yeah, Roblox, sorry about that, guys. NYSE name, down to 64 and change. Just straight, like a lot of these names, right? Recent high-flying names getting hit here. Roblox right back down to this area. Like, if this is not an important report, then I don't know what else to say, because we are going to get this movement on this report. Obviously, right at IPO prices now for Roblox. I remember this. It was like 64.25 or something was actually the IPO price. So you're right there on Roblox right now, or 64.75. You're right there. So we're going to have to wait to see. It did dip down to 60 double time there. So one time there, one time again. We'll see if Roblox has it in it to hold the 60 level today after market. So for right now, yeah, I'm not going to touch this thing, but Roblox doesn't look like it has a bid in it. So that should be an interesting one tomorrow off earnings, or it doesn't matter if it's reporting or not. Ford comes all the way back down to 73. Oh, 74, I guess. You got an opportunity to pick it up. We may just cash this out. Still waiting for that imbalance. Would love this thing to come back into the 80s, and then we'll just be out of everything. We're out of about half right here. So a little bit more of a push, and we'll get out of this one. Neil, still, I mean, I don't know, everything's still heading down. Like, look at this chart here, guys. Just makes that high at 36. I guess we got that dark pool situation fixed, and the chart's just like Neo, literally puking. And look at the day chart. We're right here, man. I'm so nervous, to say the least, about some of these positions heading into what's going to be a volatile week of earnings. So just watch out, man. Just hold your longs if you have any, or think about trimming them off.
Or ride the bear train on the small cap. No, I just got into that ALF, of course, like a few seconds ago, and I got a couple entries. This 57 was the last one. It pops right down, and look at this retracement. So when it broke in the morning off 470, this little pullback was right into like 440, 441 area, and then of course I missed that rollover. What does it dip to? Exactly that same price. It stalls the move down here at 440. I take some out there at 45, and now it's just like rip central. Now I'm not going to give it past 475, but I will try one shot. We'll try one more shot in here to get short, and then if it breaks this high of the day, the high of this little move here at that 75, we'll just get out. Now, I'm not going to give it any more than that, because if it tests to 520, that was a great short this morning, and I want to leave like some room in the chamber that if I'm not getting too stubborn here, I can at least take another possible trade to the short side. This sort of came out of nowhere, like a second ramp up. Obviously it's not a second ramp up because today it's only been down, but it had gapped up in the morning. So worth noting, as it moves higher, and of course I just got out there. So first little bit good, re-entry not so much. Let's see if ALF can get back into where we started shorting it at $5, maybe even off of the high of the day, 525. I'd be a little surprised if it made a fresh high after being at $4 all afternoon. Is what it is. If it breaks 525, I'm almost certain I will have gotten short again between 5 and 515.
Yo, what's up, Davey Day Trader here? Dave Portnoy in the house. I don't think so.
His third cousin?
But third's cousin. So, tell Mr. Portnoy to come on our show, because I do want to talk to him about a few things, including frozen pizzas, including how we love him here, and including his energy. I think we can, him and I can match each other there. So let's go, Portnoy. I've tweeted at you a couple times, get you on the show. If you are his cousin, tell Davey Day Trader, give your boy a holler, and we'll hook him up there for that. But get out of stocks and into crypto. Hey, man, if you haven't made that move already, then that is, yeah, Dan, I mean, I'm feeling that. I'm trying, sending messages to him. What can I do? We'll wait to see on Davey Day Trade there. Good show. A little different than ours. But okay, so That's it. That's that talk. Yeah, have him come on would be great. I don't know what he's buying these days. I know he made a lot of money on Alibaba back in the day. We recently just bought some Alibaba. Palantir back. We just tweeted it out as well. Alibaba, let's have a quick look at that one. That's another name coming into earnings this week. It has this 220 peg to it. Does it get any flatter than this, guys, for Alibaba? Like, everybody waiting on some of these reports. What's up, Brendan?
Another one in that same group. So we were talking about that IHT little real estate trust. So this MDRR, if anyone wants a little excitement in their life in the last 45 minutes of the day, 175 here for MDRR. Another one going crazy in that little real estate group, guys.
Yeah, let's just step in front of like moving trains left, right, and center. So we showed you the winners. We showed you the losers. I showed you like half of one, half of the other on that last ALF trade. But this is going to be only a hit. Try that little defense, bouncing off of the low of the day. Friday's a high as well on U.S. Steel. It breaks, so we just broke that low at 85s. I'll run to the I guess the woodshed on this one. I only now have Big 5. I'm still looking at maybe getting back into that Oxygen, but I wanted to dip a little bit further before I try to dig too deep on that one. Big 5. It's basically right here in the bid. I'm just trying to get out here like below that 50 mark. And then I want to see if we can hold into what was also Friday's high there, similar to US Steel, I guess, 30.66. It is sliding down. It's gone from just parabolic moves and crazy squeezes to the upside to slowing right down. And if it holds this bid at 31.50, maybe it's got another move in it tomorrow. After the sell-off today, I kind of thought this would be where it starts to unwind a little bit. But if it doesn't break this 31.50 definitively, or even 31 even, my guess is this is not done that particular story. I don't know. I'm only going to go to this one because FireEye, which was one of the easier shorts, I think, in terms of idea today, has managed to find a bit of a bottom here at like 19.50 or so. If this pops into like the $20 to $25 range, I'll be looking to short this one again tomorrow. So I just go back to this well every single time I can. If it gets up to the 20.50, I don't feel it should have popped in the first place, but we're going to beat up on it every time that it does. Oxygen is convinced, convinced not to give any further breakout. If it dips to about like 980, 10 area off of VWAP, I'll take one shot at it to the long side. But it looks like it was a good idea to take that out flat, as this one is not following through at all.
Yeah, okay. Just looking at, I mean, good trading there. ALF, big name. Someone said Alibaba's at 52-week lows. Yeah, that's the point. No, it's not. Anyways, is it June, May? No, I think 52-week lows would be somewhere down here, which is fine. Like I said, even if we retrace back to the 10%, we just started adding to this position. I mean, we're long in the 230s. We initially started buying. Well, we initially bought on the first break upside, which was about here, 220. I think it was about here. Yeah, June of 18, maybe? I can't remember. But anyways, yeah, about 220, this first break. So we did enjoy it all the way upside. I didn't get anything out. This is just a longer term position. I said, we're not getting out of this thing till we retire. Who knows how long that is going to be, but hopefully at least a few more years. 217 downside here. I like that trade. And then the other position that we just went into, averaged into, obviously, is our Apple trade. We just took some more on this one. I like these. You gotta have some cash left over, guys, to start buying on some of these dips. And those are the two that I chose today. Mr. Wicked.
All right, that time. Let's review one more time before we get into the close. 12 minutes to go here. A couple of these just popping up. This one in particular, Affirm and Space, Virgin, on volume. So doing some moves here before earnings, guys. Virgin, I just saw confirm their earnings call at 5 p.m. tonight, if anyone is interested.
Yeah, watch out for that. Like, actually, Smell Direct, that's one of the ones that somehow didn't manage to. I don't know how I missed it. It's right in the middle there. Novavax as well will be playing. I was mentioning one of the other names on there that you might not have noticed and is not necessarily front of the mind. That's Haynes, HBI there, guys. And it's been very, very strong recently, but even the ES, and there's a lot of things that have been selling off today. We'll add that, there you go, add that one to the list. So it was looking pretty strong when we started the show. That is completely reversed. They're dumping this one going into that earnings, and it kind of makes me think that this could be a hold off and wait to see if it doesn't get all the way down to like a 20. I mean, sometimes you can impress, which I think they're going to have a pretty good quarter at least overall. And then you're going to look to see if you can buy on a little bit of a dip. It was all kinds of strength bouncing off the 50 period here. Let's see if it can't do it again. They were dumping this one hard going into earnings, despite the fact that it was one of the few things that was up when we caught off the morning show. So that trend has definitely reversed. All you gotta do is complain about it, and then all of a sudden Big Five decides to give me that little fill. So we went to this well on the short side of the train, and there we go. We took it out here, got some of the 40s, so we're able to get that 47-cent winner, whatever, close enough to 50. Gonna let this one ride. I don't think the imbalance is gonna matter for Big Five. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. That if we break down here, break 31s, I want about 30, call it 77 in front of Friday's high, as I've mentioned, and where it broke out this morning. The retrace is on here. I'll slide my stop into 32 even, tighten it up just a little bit. I mean, the imbalances came and you see no movement here whatsoever. So clearly, as expected, no concerns about this particular stock moving. And U.S. Steel continued to crash. Good thing I got out of that one. 30 cents lower than my out for sure.
Okay, so yeah, Neil just talked about the imbalances here. Some stuff on here that's a little bit of a surprise. Not a surprise as in the names, but just some of the sizes there. Walmart, we don't normally see like 1.3 milli on this. This is a day chart, so let's go to a minute chart here quickly so we can see what's happening. I'll zoom back out a bit, or zoom back in a bit, just so we can see as we review them. Walmart, so comes off about 20, 30 cents there. Uber, off a buy imbalance quickly, not doing anything. Ford, buy imbalance, we're still in that name. Like I said, we got out of 50%. We may wind up losing on this trade after all on that one. And then GE, the big one to the buy side as well. I don't see anything else on here that's going to be reporting that we've looked at so far today. So that's that. And look, you can see, guys, a lot of these imbalances don't really touch the stock. You got to wait for bigger days, rebalance days when you get like 10 million shares on that. Because again, those are market on close orders, but now they have 10 minutes to work those orders. So they get paired off. Someone sees a big buy on Walmart, and I'll call it up one more time. Someone sees a big buy on Walmart, and then they just say, oh, I'll take some of that. And then this is that paired value. So as somebody on the floor says, hey, I'll take 300,000. So then that pairs off, thus creating more, equality into that closing print for both the buyers and the sellers. So that's why the imbalance is there. And I don't really see anything.
To your point here, Sean, I mean, yeah. Uber with that over 1 million shares and down 2% on the day, it's not even a blip, man. Like, it actually came down very, very slightly here through 46 once again. So it's not the be all end all. Now, if I had been like in a short position in Uber, like maybe shorting into in front of VWAP or something, and then I saw that buy and bounce come out, I probably would still take it off just because I don't want to go against the grain in that position. But clearly it's not even moving the needle. Now, we talk about this all the time. You got to have yourself an out. Don't get too stubborn. And outside of Coinbase, I mean, Coinbase is the biggest lesson I will learn today because that was obviously a great long, and I should have held on to it, given it more room, had a tighter entry. There's lots of ways it could have gone about it, but getting away from the short off the top in U.S. Steel, the move that it made, once again, it's like go back to the well. When it rolled over off that 30 the first time, fine, we had tops. Should have come back in here. Now, when it tests VWAP once, okay, maybe you don't take. When it tests VWAP twice, you got to have this short again. And then, breaking even the low of the day was another good one. So back to 27.50. This is now almost given back a full 10% off the top. For sure, it's going to be on my watch list tomorrow morning for an open trade. It's a heavy reversal as just about everything has been affected in this move to the downside. I mean, the banks, even because Morgan Stanley, I was trading a little bit earlier on. If this will load up for me here. Yeah, I was trading a Morgan Stanley off of the low, had a scalp trade. I'm like, this is looking pretty good. Then tested the low again. I missed the entry to get more long. Tried to hold on through VWAP, and now you're seeing another name, even the banks. Now down 1% Morgan here, making fresh lows going into the close. Yet somehow my big five can't give me more than 50 pennies. That stock doesn't care what the market's doing. That's a squeeze. I shouldn't be complaining.
Yeah, the market right now getting back to lows here for the NASDAQ. I think this maybe is the low, isn't it? Yeah, 13,360. So we're right back on lows of the day here for the NQs. So be very, very, I can move that up a little bit, guys. So be very, very careful there. 13,360 basically. So you're at 13,370. So watch out below. We've dumped everything. I mean, the only thing we have now is Ford. And this is why, like, no matter what you think, and we try to educate. I was going to try to make that entertain, educate, inform. I was going to try to make something up for that. But no matter how you think about it, like this Palantir trade right there, right? You can hold forever and ever and ever if you want. But again, once it comes back to VWAP or into the close, I just want you to understand my reasoning for getting out there as it comes back in. And this is why right now, with only 3 minutes to go on earnings, I don't think it's worth taking a position on anything. You could get a dump one way or the other. And then when you're rolling dice, like I don't want to sit here and roll dice, right? And that's not, we've already talked about sort of, you know, the sort of run that I've been on a daily standpoint. Sure, we don't talk about P&Ls, but you know, you put yourself in the best situation where you can win, right? And that's why sometimes here, some of these levels that we write down that Facebook, 313, how good was that? You want to look back at some of these levels there, 63.20 on XOM, Facebook 85, that was the high of the day. And then Palantir, what's going to happen at 20? Well, I mean, we saw what happened at 20. It tanked, right? And so you got to have a plan of action, whether or not you're going to be correct or not. It's kind of like a moot point. You can learn from your mistakes. So right now, look at Palantir flushing, right? Every time we get it back to VWAP, we do the same thing here. Gets back to VWAP, we get out, flush. You know, gets back to VWAP, get out, flush. So here you are gonna have areas where you wanna hold it. I don't do a great job of that, but that's just getting you into sort of my mentality. Before I throw back to you, Neil, I know the show's almost getting wrapped up here, but right now, guys, we are having a crypto crash, if you call this a crash. It is kind of crashing down here. You'll see the chart. This is Ether right now. It just made a new all-time high when we were in a meeting. Thanks, meeting, for that one, 42.5. But then right now, back down to 4,000. So basically 5% back here off that number, off that high. So watch out. Ether right now crashing through 4,000.
This was the poll this morning. I think Miss Valeria put up there was Ethereum by the U.S. close going to be able to hold 4,000. I think that's what it was. And I suppose the answer, unless something changes in 4 minutes, is no. Now, I got to get out of this big five. I really don't have a choice. But I had to throw this out there because you said something negative about dice, Sean. Tron would beg to defer because he has a hot hand at a dice game, and there's never anything wrong with playing a little dice. Of course, rolling the dice while trading is just straight gambling and risky instead of having a plan of action. I kid there. I'm just a really big Chappelle Show fan. There is one thing that just made a break here. Now, I was never going to trade BNT. I've never traded like BNTX or one of these stocks in the close. Usually it's more of an open rollover on these vaccine names, but it just broke back above 200 with a little bit of a breakout going into this close. So it looks like ending on some strength. Usually shorting these when they have positive news has been one of the easier trades on the high flying vaccine names. Just getting like a bit of a gap fill that came back in here and we took advantage of it. Didn't hold long enough, but maybe missed a 200 break because that was pretty clean, like 1, 2, 3, and then the fourth time when it breaks that 200, you're going to get a $3 move. So there might be something to these when they make that strong of a comeback. I mean, Moderna, I don't know if I've ever seen Moderna do the same thing, but BioNTech with a big move through 200. Kind of wish I had put it in. You get a couple of dollars there to end the day.
Yeah, it just broke 4,000 their Ether.
Bye-bye.
So if you guys wanted to watch it, it didn't go to bye-bye yet. It only went to 39.80. So it's trying to get back upside there. So if you want a little discount, if you're saying like I'm not in Ether yet, I mean, not to say that this is going to be a valuable buy spot right here, but if we do a little bit more work, go to a daily chart. Daily chart's not going to make any sense because it's just too nuts. But we'll find some levels tomorrow, guys. I do think that you do get a pullback probably to the 50-period moving average, like 31.50, something like that. Crypto, although it seems like it goes up in a straight line, there are lots of opportunities to get this in. So we'll wait to see where that goes for now. But with only 2 minutes to go, Palantir, I think, is a morning time report, so we don't have to worry about that. If you did want to pick up some Beyond Meat today, I think that was almost something that I pulled the trigger on. Of course, I went with Alibaba, I went with Apple, but this Beyond Meat, I think, is way, way overdone to the downside. It was just trading at 135, and now you're back down to basically levels that you haven't seen in a hell of a long time for this Beyond Meat. This is November of 2020, and then you go all the way back to like April. I mean, I guess it's not that long of a time, but about a year ago, where Beyond Meat's traveled all the way. Dead money for a year. You can get it on sale right now. I do like that Beyond Meat. But other than that, man, we'll get this out for flat at the end of the day. This Ford, we're long at 73. We just took a piece out there again, as you can see right there, at 73. So we'll have to get the rest out for a penny hit. But still, decent trade here on Ford to end the day.
Yeah, exactly. And look, at the end of the day, we have to be flat. So I will show you. I was going to talk about the trade desk, but I will show you Big Five. I had to cover it. We'll only end up getting like just over 50 pennies on the trade. It was a decent rollover. Would have been better at 33, but maybe asleep at the wheel just before we came on the show. I was with about less than a minute, I should say. I don't think either one of us traded the trade desk. But that never really caught a bid at all here, Sean. I mean, it's still down pretty much at that level of the day. Of course, there is that. They did announce that the 10-for-1 split and getting beaten up throughout the entire session. So that one could be on watch going in tomorrow. In addition to all the earnings that we got, Smile Direct, your SpaceX, your Palantirs of the world, and then Novavax as well. So there's a heck of a lot to get to. It's been a wild close. Of course, had that U.S. deal loss, but everything else is pretty good, and I can't complain about it. It's been a good start to the week. It should be a big one. Just too bad we couldn't hold that 4,000. But any dip is a good one. Hopefully this countdown goes on time. There it is. Every now and then I hit the key, and it starts when it should. 5, 4, not yet, Ms. B. 3, 2, and 1. The green shirt did not work today.
No, the green shirt.
Not at all.
I mean, it worked for my net, but yeah, it didn't work for the market there. So we'll need to get Miss V more green because we need to have that stay true. But yeah, good trading day today. We're very, very excited for some of these earnings that wind up coming through. So I don't know. I think today, like I said, I think this week there's a lot of new companies that are going to report, and I'm just interested to see where the power lies here in some of these new names, and if they continue to get crushed, the NASDAQ has just no end in sight to the downside.
Yeah, no bounce at all right across the board. Even the S&P guys really sold off hard there into the close. You can see we accelerated 1 full percent. For the S&P, the Dow leading, 2.6, the NASDAQ leading 2.6. The Dow did, it looks like, just ever so slightly managed to hold on to positive territory there. TSX here in Toronto, 0.5%. Bitcoin, 3.4. Look at Ethereum. It is, as Sean was saying, coming off pretty hard here, but still up nicely on the day, guys.
Yeah, remember about that daily, those numbers there for Ethereum. Just depends on where you take the quote from, right?
Yeah, it's 24 hours.
Yeah, it's 24 hours, so it's definitely down from the day. Yeah, your hair looks fine, Miss V. I mean, how about my hair? I mean, let's not joke ourselves here. Okay.
Brandon's hair looks great, though.
Yeah, Brendan's hair always looks fantastic, if that's what you said. Sorry, I missed that.
Valeria's is always better, though.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a reason why. Okay, guys, look, excellent job today. Thank you so much to our production team. Let's give a big wave to them. This is one of the things that we do every single evening. If you guys have a chance, all you traders have a chance to catch us tomorrow. We go back live with the big show at 8:30 and then back at 3:15. Don't worry, we'll be here, but very, very exciting as the NASDAQ continues to plummet here, guys. For Neil, for Brendan, for Valeria, I'm Sean. Have a blessed evening, and we will see you tomorrow.
See you in the morning, guys.